Hello and welcome to Topsim. My name is William Lebowski and welcome to a new video on a new channel. Pretty excited about it. But of course I feel like this is a good time just to kind of give a good introduction and catch you up on where I'm at in flight sim and aviation in general, I guess. And so you can see that this is our first solo flight as part of the first part of your training program in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it seemed like a good introductory point to jump off and, for the channel itself, because it seemed like it was a good place to start, because it's literally where you might start as your journey in terms of getting your pilot's license. And so we haven't gone through the entire class yet, or the entire course list yet, but there you can see our first module done, and we are now in our first test of all of our lessons in our first solo flight. So now after taking this, it really was a huge bit of help to go in, getting in familiar with the planes and the controls going forward in the procedures for the rest of the flying I've been doing. But anyway, I think I've done enough of the training where I can now go forward and have a little bit more fun, and then when I want to get back to navigation or whatever airline or different skills, I can go back and learn some new stuff. But anyway, that is where I'm at in the game, but just wanted to now touch back, and I've actually flown this plane in real life, but not exactly in this solo capacity that you're referring to. Mostly, not mostly, only a guy who owned the plane took me up and was like, hey, try it, try it. And so he's like, put your left hand, grab the yoke, and it was like, okay, let's move it around, that's what it's like. And then he's like, hey, your house is over that direction, and he pointed somewhere in the plane off to the left, and he's like, go over there. And so I turned the plane and flew us over there, went over to our house, flew around, flew back, and he's he told me to keep my hands on the yoke, but just don't do anything, obviously, and he'll take us in for landing. And that's what we did. It was really cool. A really great experience. I guess we can call it a discovery flight, but I don't think that's what an official discovery flight actually is. But I think basic things happened that we could call it my personal discovery flight. So that's where I'm at in general. I would love to get my private pilot's license, but I've also would really love to get my commercial license and do some awesome stuff like that, as some cargo commercial flight. But anyway, that's not at all what the focus of this channel is going to be, or this video even at all. Just kind of wanted to give you that background and information. What I really am looking forward to displaying on this channel is really all of the fun stuff that flying in Microsoft Flight Sim, and maybe DCS or whatever other options I have out there potentially in the future. I have at my fingertips. And so as far as when it comes to Flight Sim, that's what Microsoft Flight Sim I'm going to be focusing on first. And we're going to have some really cool things. There's definitely those bush trips are something that's very, very big in my mind, because that's what I would love to do professionally. That's what my goal would be, my dream would be for having my commercial pilot's license, would be to do those cargo trips and those bush trips specifically. So doing all of those different bush trips, and there's 60 different legs now, I think I saw, and I guess that means there's always more coming. So I am going to be going through all of those and doing those on the channel, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I think in all of the video formats going forward are going to be more live focused, probably with the face cam. No guarantees on that, as it does require moving from the sim rig to where the flight rig is. But anyway, so they're definitely going to be more live based, and we can get what's going on as we're actually flying, and get that conversation instead of this post commentary after the fact. Definitely, especially with something like flying, I think it does lend itself really well to the live commentary, especially as you're taking off and doing all of the different things. It can be a lot more entertaining, and I think a lot more fun for both the viewer and the creator. So yeah, those bush trips are going to be fun. I think probably some expectations of those landing challenges, just the different things that are offered in Microsoft Flight Sim. But then I've also had this idea, and I haven't done any kind of research, because I'm sure it's something that has been done before, but it's also not one of those things that's going to deter me either way. But I have an idea for an 80 flight series. You probably have already guessing my unoriginal attempt at this, but going around the sim world in 80 flights, and just going around, starting in Kitty Hawk as the birthplace of aviation, and just going from there around the world in some sort of, not necessarily specific route, not something necessarily planned out, but just something that I think that would be really cool. Stopping by some places that I would like to see in real life, finding out what places would be awesome to visit, just based on what other people have to say and their inputs on what they enjoy seeing in flight sim. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a plan as well. And so I don't exactly know how all those are going to work, because obviously there are probably going to be some cool things, some big things like transatlantic crossing or just ocean crossings in general. And I think it would be really cool to do something with like some of the historic planes, like recreate some of the historic flights if they line up perfectly for where we're at. In geographically on the map. I think it might be really cool to do like the Spirit of St. Louis, take that plane and recreate some amazing transatlantic flights and things like that in some of the planes that are offered in Microsoft Flight Sim that we're actually doing those cool things. And so some of those cool older planes might be fun to do some of those challenges in. And so obviously the Cessna 152, there's so many things that you can do. Is that's such a popular plane now, especially for sightseeing and going and checking out some stuff. And then, of course, I do like, there are places like Antarctica where if you're going around the world, you got to get there. Where some bigger, definitely jets or airliners are gonna come more into play for sure, because those are just some big distances. So yeah, I can definitely see a use case just in that one series alone of 80 flights. It both taking a very long time to accomplish, doing and seeing a lot, and as well as pretty much being able to fly every plane that is offered in Flight Sim, at least in the deluxe version, or maybe even considering picking some ones up from the store that you guys really recommend. But anyway, that's kind of what I have the plan going forward. Those live style videos. This landing was pretty sketchy, and you can see that pretty rough correction that I made right there. Not exactly a great landing, but that being said, any good landing is one where you can walk away from, and I landed, I think, just fine, although the approach was real sloppy, and you can see already here we're not really lined up, even though we're pretty close, and still we're getting pretty jerky on these controls. So it's interesting watching it back, because as I was doing this, I knew it wasn't perfect. I knew it wasn't going to be pretty, but watching the video, you definitely see how much more off things were and how much more jerky the controls were. But as we now are heading in, I was actually a little bit concerned that I was too low. As you can see me switch just the camera just for a second, because I thought I was going to clip the top of those trees, but coming in just fine. A little bit maybe steep, maybe steeper than I had wanted to, maybe a little bit faster than anticipated. A little bit of ups and down, a little bit of bobble, but anyway, we just slap on the ground. But that's what I have for you guys. I do appreciate you watching this introductory video. If you guys came over from Top Sim, I definitely appreciate you guys taking the risk from some flight sim stuff, as from the usual racing sim stuff. But anyway, thank you guys. I do appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one, and I'm curious what that next video will be, but I've got some hopes, and there we go. We got a B and a license. We'll see you in the next one.